Hello and welcome to the Wellness Rock Show with your host, Stephanie Deal. This is a sacred space where we dive deep into 5 pillars: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial to create optimal wealth in your life. In each episode, I will be your faith-filled friend guiding you on a transformative journey towards a godly and vibrant life. Whether you're seeking peace within spiritual leadership, inspiration for your wellness journey, or practical strategies for a successful lifestyle, Stephanie and the Wellness Rock are here to nurture every facet of your existence. Join us as we embark on a sacred quest to align the body, mind, and spirit in harmony with God's design. Hey guys, welcome back. So, how's it going? It has been very warm, and these allergies, like this allergy season has been crazy. I feel like I've never experienced allergies like this in my life, and like as you can tell by my voice and last week's episode, my allergies have just been like really crazy. So bear with me, work with me here. We're doing our best. But I hope everybody's doing well and everybody is just, enjoying this warm weather no matter where you are. I think there's like warm weather everywhere right now besides in like maybe Australia and stuff like that, because I think they're going into their winter season now. Like I think that's how that works. So yeah, I'm a summer girly. I love summer. I love the warm weather. I just love summer. Love summer. And you will never catch me complaining that it's too hot outside, because we only get like 3 months of this stuff in Michigan. So I will not complain that it's too hot, because I love the sun. I love the warm weather. So I'm here for it. So today we're really going to jump into what success really means for you. And when I mean you, I mean what success looks like for you as an individual. Because for me, I feel like success looks different for everybody. Like everybody's going to have their different version of success. And I don't think that there's a point in your life where you should, like, yes, there's a point in your life where you should feel like you are successful, that you've kind of like made it to where you kind of wanted to make it. But at the same time, like life is ever evolving. Like you should continuously be evolving. So like there should always be something that you want to succeed at, or there's always something that you want to get better at, because that's what life is. Like, yeah, you can reach a certain point in your business or in your personal life or in your relationship or your family life, your financial life, whatever it may be, and you may label that as like achieving a goal or being successful in that area. But there should never be a point in your life where you should be like, oh yeah, I succeeded everything and there's nothing left for me to do, because we can always be better. And I'm not saying that in a sense of like, oh, we always need to be grind. I'm saying that in a sense of personally, like we can always be better personally as people who care about one another, as people who just out here in general. So we're really going to jump into that today, and I just kind of want to talk about like the different types of success, and I kind of hit on that a little bit, but like there can be, I think the one that most people think about is financial success. And for me, I always had it in my head that, oh, I'm not successful because I don't have this amount of money in my bank account. That's not necessarily what success is, and I'm going to dive into that after I kind of jump into a little bit about like the different types of success. But it's so much bigger than the amount of money in your bank account. So it can also be your personal success. How much have you developed? And this is the one I feel like that really defines whether you're successful or not. There can be like weight loss successes, like, oh, I wanted to gain this amount of weight, I wanted to lose this amount of weight. Like those are different types of success. Like you can feel like you made it and you're successful by doing that. And there's different types of success. So like I said, I always thought of your bank account defines your success. And that's honestly something that I had to unlearn as I got older. And I'm not sure like where that came from. I'm not sure why I had that thought in my head or how that controlled my life in which shape or form. But as I've gotten older and as I've, developed myself and developed a business and I have a team and I'm doing the things, I realize like I am successful. For a 23-year-old woman, I am successful with where I'm at. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. And I don't take credit for that. Like, yeah, I've put in the work, I've done the things, but God has guided me through this whole journey, and I would not be here if he did not transform my heart the way that my heart has been transformed within this journey. Because I am not the same person that I was when I was 17, 18, 19. And I was just talking to my friend about this today. And I really want to do a whole episode about the kind of like pressure of getting out of high school and feeling like you need to know immediately what you're going to do. And I'm going to do an episode on that within the next couple of weeks, because I feel like these high schoolers have I've been talking to a lot of high schoolers, and I feel like these high schoolers have such a huge pressure on them to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And I don't think that's very fair. I don't want to jump into all of that within this episode, because that's not what this episode is about. But just know that this episode is coming, and I think it's going to be really, really good insight on the pressure that we put on high school students. So, and I feel like social media can really have an input on like the way that our brains see success as well, because we can see someone posting the amount of money in their bank account on social media. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you want to post what you make, great. No problem. More power to you. But it can affect the way other people go about their lives, and it can make you feel like this added pressure, like, oh, I'm not there, so I'm not as successful as that person. But you don't know the amount of people that person has impacted. You don't know what that person has done. You don't know their story enough to know like why they have that amount of money. And there's no reason to compare yourself to that person either, because God has a different path and plan for each and every one of us. So comparing yourself to someone who makes more money than you is not fair to yourself, because you don't know their story, you don't know what they've been through, you don't know anything about them. You know what you're doing, you know what path you're on, you know what you're doing every single day in order to be where you are. So, like I said, I feel like that's something that I had to unlearn, and I finally understand what it really means that like the amount of money in your bank account does not define your success. Because I am successful in the sense of like the amount of people that I get to impact on a daily basis, for that I am successful because of the amount of people that I'm impacting. And I think that's really what it comes down to, because like you can be successful and like have all of this money, but if you're wicked, like what are you doing with that? If you're using it for evil, what are you doing with that? Because it's about the amount of people that you impact that really leaves the lasting impression on your life. Like, that's where legends come from. That's where legacies come from. That's where your name comes from. And if you're looking to be successful, I don't think that you should be looking for the amount of money that you make, or the amount of money that you make per hour, per year in your lifetime, because that's not what's going to fulfill you. Nothing's going to fulfill you more than Jesus, first and foremost. Like, let me just say that real quick, because you need Jesus in order to be fulfilled. No amount of money, no person, no food, no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing is going to fulfill you like Jesus can fulfill you. Nothing is going to give you a peace like Jesus can give you. Jesus provides a peace far beyond our understanding. And if the sooner that we get that in our head, the sooner that we understand that, the sooner that we can understand the success and live out this life that God has called us to live from the jump. So I want you to understand also that like success, your idea of success will change as you get older as well. Because You know, like when we're young, like we want to grind. We're in this period of life when, like for me, I'm 23. I'm in this period of life where I don't have kids. I'm not married. Yeah, I have a boyfriend, but I'm working to accomplish these goals so that when I do have a family, I don't have to work this hard, because I don't want to work hard when I have a family. Like, I want to be able to go to all my kids' soccer games and whatever they want to do, whatever they decide to do. I want to be able to be there, and I want to be able to support them, and I want to be the mom that, you know, wakes up and cooks them breakfast before going to school. Like, I don't want to have the pressure of like, oh, I need to work this 9 to 5. Absolutely no problem with that. My parents did great for me, and I highly respect my parents for everything that they did. But for me personally, that's what success looks like for me. Not, yes, I'm going to be able to do that because I put myself in a financial position to do that, but it starts now. Like, I am successful now because of the amount of people that I'm impacting, and I'm building that financial freedom so that I don't have to work this job and ask for time off and ask for this and ask for that so that I can take my kid to the doctor, or I can go to my kid's basketball game. Like, whatever it is, I want that freedom. So right now, that success looks like, okay, how many people can I impact? How many people can I get in front of? How many people can I continue to pour into so that I can get to a position where I have that freedom and I accomplish that goal? But that doesn't mean that I'm not successful right now. Just because you haven't accomplished your biggest goal does not mean that you're not successful. And I feel like we need to change the narrative on that, because we have so much pressure to like be successful and be at this spot and make this amount of money and have this job title. Like, no. Who are you impacting? What are you doing that is bringing value to people? Whether you work a 9 to 5 job or you own your own business, there's impact that you can make in both of those areas. And that is what really defines your success, because it's the type of person that you are. And I feel like all around us, there's so much pressure on who makes the most amount of money, who has the nicest clothes on. And just because you have the nicest, like, people have the nicest clothes on doesn't mean that they make the most money in the room either. So instead of comparing yourself, and instead of comparing yourself to people on social media, to people around you, whatever it may be, how about you compare yourself to you? What are you doing? Are you showing up to be the best person that you can possibly be? Are you showing up as successful as you want to be? Are you showing up as that person who you see as successful, who you see as having that financial freedom, who you see as having that opportunity to provide for your family? Like, are you showing up as that person every day? Check yourself before you're looking at everybody else. We forget to look at ourselves because we're so busy comparing ourselves to other people. And that's the shift that we have to make. So I highly encourage you to do that. And honestly, I think I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, because next week we're going to be talking about like what I personally did to, like, the internal work that I've done in order to become the person that I am and the person that I continue to strive to be. So I just want to really define what success, and I want you to think about this week before, like, when you're listening to this episode, before you listen to next week's episode. I want you to be thinking about what success means for you. How are you showing up? What are you doing to impact other people? Like, what does your success look like, and how are you accomplishing that? So I just want to hit on the Bible verse. Our Bible verse this week is Joshua 1:8. Keep this book of law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. And I love that verse for this episode because we're talking about success. And the Bible tells us right there that if we keep the book of life, which is the Bible, if we keep that on our lips, we know Scripture. We're in Scripture. We're reading Scripture. We can quote Scripture. We know we're in with the Scripture. We know it. And if we meditate on it day and night, what does this certain scripture mean to us? Like, what does this specific scripture mean to us? How can we apply it to our lives? How can we bring it into other people's lives? And then